everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Iz. For today's video I have something that's not book related, but it's still a video that I am really excited to make and that I've actually been wanting to make for quite a while now, and that I just want to make for myself in the future, but also anyone else who might find it interesting.
I'm just gonna move my camera a little bit. Okay, let's see, is that more in the middle? Yeah.
Anyway, so for today's video I want to talk a bit about my French journey, about why I'm learning French, how I'm learning French, about how it's been going with me moving to France, and just all of that. Anyway, I hope you find this interesting. If you're just here to see bookish videos, then of course feel free to not watch this. But yeah, I still hope some of you will enjoy this. So I guess to start off the video I'll give a little background. So some of you may know and some of you may not know. I feel like I've talked about it on Twitter and stuff a few times, but I haven't really mentioned it that much on my YouTube channel. But I'm originally from the Netherlands and I'm currently living in France. I have a girlfriend. We've been together for 1.5 years and my girlfriend is French. So that's basically the reason that I'm learning French and that I'm in France, of course. I do want to mention that I also studied French for 5 years in high school, but like most people I didn't really care about studying and stuff. When I was in high school, I really wasn't doing well, so I also just didn't have the mental, I don't know, capacity, I guess, to spend my time studying. So that means that I learned basic French those 5 years in high school, but it's really not something that I can really use in my life much. I did learn up to, I guess, intermediate almost French reading and writing, so I can read and write French pretty well. Of course I won't know all the words, but I can usually, when I'm reading, I can just get things from the context, and I know most words. I can also write quite a bit of French. Just the thing that I struggle with the most is spoken French, so I can't really understand when people talk to me in French or when people talk in French in general, just because the pronunciation is way different from how it's written in French, and also the people talk very, very, very fast. So that's just something I've really been struggling with, but that I've also been focusing the most on with learning French lately. And I also can't really speak French that well, but that's also partly because of me just being insecure about my knowledge and my pronunciation mostly, things like that. So even if there are things that I could say in French, I usually am too insecure to actually do it. Now I guess I'll just explain first why I moved to France, since that is a pretty big step. I'm 20 years old, and I moved literally to a different country, which I am very happy about that I did that I made that choice. But yeah, so I guess I'll just explain a little about why I did that, and since when I did that, all of that. So like I said, my girlfriend is French and we've been together for 1.5 years now. So basically around last summer, so summer 2019, I started to think about potentially moving to France sometime soon. I wasn't really expecting it to be this soon, but I knew that I didn't want to stay in my hometown anyways, and if I would have moved within the country it would have been for, I don't know, college, or if I met someone else who lived somewhere else in the Netherlands, for example. And I also have some, I don't know, weird emotional connection with my hometown. So basically I didn't feel comfortable at all living there. There's also of course some good parts like my family and stuff, but I just knew that I didn't want to live there for the rest of my life. And then also, since my girlfriend is French and I'm Dutch, we had a long distance relationship. We've known each other for 3.5 years, but we've been together for 1.5 years. But that's still pretty hard, and basically I just didn't want to like get to see her a few days every month or 2 months anymore. Like I just wasn't happy how that was going. I mean, it was going fine, but I just wanted to see her more, and I also just really felt like I needed a fresh start and a new place to live. So at the end of the summer I decided to go live with my girlfriend for 1 month in September, which is what I did. Just to see how it would be, because I've never been out of my parents' house before this. So I just wanted to see how it would go living on my own. I mean, not completely on my own because I would be with my girlfriend, but still wanted to see how it would go, if I would like get too homesick, things like that. And technically it went very well, like way better than we were both expecting. Then in October I spent another month back at my parents' house. So just so that the like switch wasn't too sudden, and also because I just wanted to slowly ease myself into not living with them anymore. So I spent 1 more month at home technically, which was obviously also very good for me, just so it wouldn't be too abrupt, I guess. Then in November I spent another month here in France with my girlfriend, and that went very good again. Like it just went very well. That was literally like nothing really to complain about. Of course I miss my family and stuff, but I also miss my girlfriend when I'm with my family, so it's just never gonna be like the perfect solution unless we somehow end up living like close to both of them, but I don't think that's really a possibility. It's especially not in the near future. And so then I was here in France in November, and then I was back with my parents in December, so for like the holidays, and also just to be another month with them. And then technically since January I'm just here, like officially, like I'm officially moved in. I have all my things here, all my clothes, all my stuff, even some furniture things that I brought with me. Yeah, so I just have my whole life here now basically, and every month or 2 months I'll go back to my parents, like to see my family, like for 1 or 2 weeks, mostly like during vacations and stuff. So also there could be like possibilities of my girlfriend coming with me. And yeah, I just feel like it's going pretty well. The reason why I'm moving here and my girlfriend is not moving to the Netherlands is because my girlfriend is currently in uni still, and I'm also studying, but my study is like mostly online, which means that obviously it made more sense for me to move here than for her to move to the Netherlands. That's just how it is, and I'm fine with that. Like that's just the thing that made most sense to do right now. So basically, because I moved here and like French people do not speak English, like there's maybe a few people that speak English, probably like the younger generations, but even like kids and stuff, like teenagers, usually don't really speak English. People in like my girlfriend's class don't really speak English either. It's just a few people that speak English here. So obviously learning the language is one of the most important things for me to be doing right now. I was obviously already learning French for a while, so basically ever since my girlfriend and I got together, just because her family doesn't really speak English and I obviously want to be able to talk to them. But since this past half year I've been really taking it more seriously, spending most of my days learning French for at least 1 hour, and just really investing my time into learning French and to being exposed to French, which is also why I think it's really good that I'm living here now, because when I'm in the Netherlands, of course I can study French myself, but it's different than just hearing it around you all the time, and actually engaging in French language, things like that. So that's what I've been doing for the past while, basically. Since I started learning French outside of school, I've used Duolingo to learn French. It's a free app. I'm pretty sure most people know about it, but you can learn a bunch of languages on there, and it's been pretty like okay. Like you can definitely learn like the basics with that, but it's just not as like casual French and not as like relative, I guess. Like there's sentences, for example, that you would never use in like in actual conversation here in France or like a daily situation. So I was struggling a bit with that after I learned like the basics and stuff. Like I felt like just the things I was learning weren't really helpful for actually living in France and communicating with French people. So a while ago, like last week I think, I discovered the app Memrise. It's also a website, which is paid, but I think it's like 10. I think you can like the most long subscription you can get is 1 year, and it's like 60 euros then, which means it's like 5 euros every month, which is really not much for a like language learning app. I've really found it to be very, very helpful, very useful, very like actual daily French. I don't know how to explain it very well, but basically when I'm studying French on there, my girlfriend just says like all the time, she's like, oh, that's something we would say. Oh, that's like an actual expression that we use. That's the actual way we pronounce it. For example, in French, there might be a sentence when you write it one way, and then when you speak it like in a daily conversation, people will like kind of swallow certain words so they won't say them, for example. And with Duolingo, they would never like show that in the app, and with Memrise, I really feel like they do. There's videos of actual local French people saying the words or saying the sentence, so you can practice that, and they really speak the way that any French person would, which is really, really helpful. I already can sense that I'm improving a lot more than I like thought I would, or that I was doing with Duolingo. There's also different levels of French you can take. I'm currently like taking level 2, just because I didn't want to start too high and then miss a certain like foundation of French. Obviously level 1 was too basic for me because it's like introducing yourself and stuff, and I know how to do these things. So I've been really, really enjoying it. There's also a pronunciation feature on there where you just need to say whatever word or sentence that there is, and they will literally just count it wrong if you didn't pronounce something well, or if you like mumble too much or whatever. So it's been really, really helpful, and I really love that app so much. This is not like obviously not like paid or sponsored or whatever. I'm just literally just hair gushing about Memrise, but okay. So Memrise, if you want to sponsor me, feel free. But yeah, so I really have been noticing improvements since I've started using that, which has only been like a week, so that's pretty good. Besides using Duolingo or Memrise to learn French, I have also spent hours looking on Tumblr and just Google for like lists of verbs or lists of like nouns, things like that, lists of grammar. Like on Tumblr there's whole like Langblur, I don't know how you would pronounce that, but basically like languages on Tumblr, and you have like a French one, and then you have every other language basically, where people who are either learning or who are native French speakers post like things on how to learn it, like certain vocabulary topics. Like for example, I found a thing once that was like night vocabulary, so like pajama and star and sleeping. I don't know, whatever you can think of that has to do with the night. There was just a list of vocabulary for that. There's also big lists of like the 100 most common French verbs, for example, that I've looked through and like used to refresh my mind for verbs. So that's one very helpful way, but these are more if you need to practice your written or like yeah, if you need to practice your written French. So if you need to practice writing French or reading French, these are really helpful. And then to really practice my spoken French very well, I've been mainly trying to watch shows and movies in French. Now I usually watch them with English subtitles for now, just because I really won't understand what's going on if I watch them just in French. And I found that especially on like Netflix and stuff, the subtitles in French don't match exactly what they say in French, so that's really confusing for me then, so I don't really like using that. But for example, I've been watching Miraculous, which is a kids show, which is very helpful because it's like easier French. It's not as complicated as like, for example, I don't know, like police shows or doctor shows or things like that, right? Like they use easier vocabulary. So I've been really enjoying that. It's also a very fun show. Like I just love it. I love the characters and it's so nice to watch. And I've also watched Plan Coeur, which is just a general like rom-com show, which is really nice. I really enjoyed that a lot. And it's more like if you're around my age, it's something more for us to watch. It's just like adults and their love life, whatever. So that was really fun to watch. I've also watched some like Disney movies in French, even though they're just supposed to be like English, of course, like that's the original language, but I used to watch them in Dutch all the time when I was a kid, so obviously I don't mind watching them in French either. And since it's also for kids, it's more easy to understand too. So I've just been trying to listen to as much French as I can. I also do go out and go like grocery shopping by myself quite regularly. Of course I don't have to like speak much, it's just your standard like sentences and stuff, but it does help me to feel more confident in talking to people and to speak French. When I did it for the first time, I was so nervous to just go, but now I can just go to a store and just buy whatever I want and it'll just be fine. I also take the bus, things like that, like public transport also helps to practice my actual French, like speaking French. Yeah, so that's basically all the ways that I learn French. I think I've explained why I learn French and like my moving situation. Oh, I guess I'll talk a bit about like how moving has been like personally for me, moving to a different country. So it's not like as easy and like good as I would have ideally hoped it to be, of course. It's been quite hard in that, for example, if I meet someone, so like my girlfriend's family or my girlfriend's friends or just random people that she meets and could talk to, I feel like a little like left out, I guess, not because of anyone else, because they're all really nice, but just because I don't feel like I can speak freely, which has been pretty hard. But it's also more motivation for me to keep learning French, and to really keep trying and to keep going at it, so that I can learn it as fast as possible and I can make real like meaningful connections with people here. Besides that, it's also been hard for me to find a job, because obviously when you move country you can't like keep the same job as you had before. And it's pretty hard for me to find a job. We're still looking for a job just because since I don't speak French, there's lots of jobs that I can't do. So for example, I can't just work at a store because I need to be able to talk to the customers. I can't work like in a cafe, because I need to be able to talk again to the customers, but like as a barista or whatever, and that's pretty hard. But we're still like looking for something for me to do, something maybe that's more English or something where I don't really have to talk. And obviously it's one of the big reasons why I'm learning French as fast as I can, just so that I can get a good job, like an actual stable job and stuff here. And besides that, it's been pretty good, like to move to a different country. Sometimes I just think about it and I'm like, whoa, I'm 20 and I live in a completely different country from where I grew up, and it's not like I moved with my parents or something. I just moved by myself basically. I mean, I moved in with my girlfriend, so it's not completely like by myself, but still feels like a pretty big step for me, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying living in a different environment. I'm enjoying like just being in a different city and having this new fresh start. And I also really love France. I've always loved it when we went on vacation, so that's great. I really enjoy like that aspect of it. Like I'm happy that the country that I did move to is France. And yeah, it's been going pretty okay. I just wanted to make this video for anyone who maybe wants to start learning French, or who also moved to France, or who's in a similar situation to me, and also just for myself, so that later, like in a few years, I can just look back on this and see like how I was doing back then, and just how I was learning, and just how much improvement I've made and how much progress. I don't currently feel confident yet enough to speak French in a video, so I won't do that for now. But hopefully maybe in like half a year I'll try to make a video in French, or like part of a video in French, something like that. So yeah, it's going pretty well, and I definitely hope that I can improve a lot. And if you're interested in these sorts of videos, like about me learning French, or like study with me's, or like more in-depth like videos about the materials that I use to learn French, or like maybe you have questions about me being in France, or like learning the language, things like that, like a Q&A style video, just please let me know. I'd love to make more of these. I'd love to just have a whole series of my French journey documented. So yeah, if you have any of that, just let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video with more bookish content. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!